A really great bead weaving technique that's easy to learn and that gives you great results is uneven or asymmetrical peyote. Let's show you a couple of projects that I did with this stitch. So this one is a seamless bracelet, it's a cuff, and the design was based on a moth wing. So you can see the eye there, you can see the veining in the wings. So that's an example of something that's stitched in uneven peyote. Here's another one. This was actually based on a picture that I took of the back pattern of my pet lizard. I've got a bearded dragon. But you can also go with patterns that are not based on kind of nature or photographs or textures. For example, this one is a zebra skin, just uses two colors, black and white. Here's a key pattern. So that's basically using 4 colors. Again, it's kind of warm earth tones. So you can design something like that, or you can go not abstract, but actual images of something. So this is a tokay gecko, and it kind of repeats. So again, it's a seamless cuff. There you go. Or you can go abstract. This is kind of a swirling pattern with metallics on a bone white matte background. So let's find out how to make this kind of bead texture. So for demonstration, I'm actually going to go big because I think it's going to be easier to demo this, showing this with large beads, large string, and a large needle. So what we want to do is, first of all, we want to thread our needle. And that's really all you need. You don't need a bead weaving loom or anything. You can really sit there and just have your beads in your lap and your string, and you're all ready to go. So first of all, we're going to put a stop bead on. That bead's going to be removed, but it's going to keep the other beads in place. And so what you do is you go through the bead and then you go through the bead one more time in the same direction. So you can see you can still move it about, but it's kind of sitting there. And you can always do this a second time to make sure it doesn't slip off. There we go. Now we start with our peyote pattern. So we're going to do something really simple, just alternating yellow and red beads. So here's our first yellow, there's a red, another yellow, a red, another yellow, a red, a yellow. There we go. That's already going to give us a nice bit of bead fabric. So we're going to close and return with 2 of the same color. That's the last one. So you can see if we don't count the stop bead for uneven peyote, you always want an uneven number of beads. So that's kind of our first line. Now we're going to go and start building up a bead pattern. So we're going to ignore the 2 red ones here, and we're going to go back through from the bottom to the top this time, our yellow bead. And then we kind of tug on it a little bit until the 2 red ones, there we go, are sitting right there below the yellow bead. Now I'm going to thread another red and go back from the bottom to the top through my yellow bead. There we go. Again, 2 reds sitting side by side underneath the yellow bead. I'm going to repeat that one more time. There we go. And one last time through the yellow bead. I'm going to ignore the stop bead. I'm not going to do anything with that. That's just going to sit there, keeping my beads in place. There we go. Now I'm ready to return. And what I'm going to do now that I'm stitching down is, you can see this right here. There's actually little holes in there. It's almost like kind of the teeth of a comb. So I'm going to go with the yellow and I'm going to go back down to my last red. There we go. And see, now I have 2 yellows sitting next to my 2 reds. And I'm going to go through the red, another yellow, down through the red, and the last one. And again, I'm ready to return, so I'm going to go and stitch back up using reds. There we go. Pull it tight a little bit, and I'm just going to go and fill up the rest with reds. Grab a few more. There we go. and another, and another. And I'm ready to flip. And again, I'm going to thread down with yellows. So keep doing this, you know, and that's how you can see how you get this kind of strip quality, right? That's kind of the pattern. I'm working up and down, up and down, up and down. And of course, I don't have to use just red and yellow. I can use as many colors as I like. And especially if I'm using smaller beads, you can see how it starts coming together, really starting to make patterns. And, you know, it's almost like painting with beads, if you will. And we're done. There we go. So now I'm actually ready to go ahead and get rid of the stop bead because I don't really need that anymore, and I have enough bead fabric to sew into. So what I'm going to do is I'm slowly and carefully going to work this off of the string. There we go. There we go. And now of course I have to get rid of the string because I don't want this to unravel. So I'm going to go ahead and thread the little tail end here. There we go. I'm going to knot this up here. This is going to look a little bit chunky because it's going to be a big fat thread. If you do this with a skinny needle and a skinny thread, you won't see much of it. There you go. And there's another knot. There. Or any other way you want to knot this up. And then basically you're going to sew it into the bead fabric. There we go. Just go right through. There you are. And then you can take it and snip it off. And see, now you have a seamless cuff. Now you can go and continue stringing your beads. Now, as I do this, let me also explain why we're actually calling this asymmetrical or uneven peyote. Because as you can see on the top, I'm always having a yellow band, and on the bottom I'm always having a red band. And so for asymmetrical patterns, this is really cool. Because it doesn't matter, and the returns are very, very easy. You just keep going back and forth and back and forth. But it's always going to be uneven edges, right? For example, this one's sticking out, this one's in. The pattern always red on one side, yellow on the other side, so you never have a complete symmetry in there. But again, for uneven patterns where symmetry isn't really important, this is a great way to go because you just keep working back and forth until your piece is finished, and you basically have yourself a bracelet or any other kind of bead fabric that you want. And that's how you do uneven peyote.